Today we will talk about the registration process as a nurse in British Columbia. In my previous videos, we talked about how to register as a nurse in Canada and the first step being the National Nursing Assessment Service. However, in British Columbia, in addition to National Nursing Assessment Service as the first step, for BC there is a separate organization who does a similar process. So, as a nurse, as an international education nurse, you don't really need to go to the NNEAS in order to in order to register in British Columbia. So, in this video, we will cover who are they, what steps are part of the credential assessment, as well as what is required for the BCCNM. We will cover these two areas. If you are first time watching my video, I will leave those my previous videos links in the description. Feel free to check them out. They will give you more details with regard to the jobs available in Canada for nurses, for registered nurses, and the registration process. If you are from Australia, UK, or New Zealand, US, where you have a current license as well as education from these countries, of course, the process would be the same. However, there may be a minor adjustment with regard to the fast tracking your registration within Canada. We will go through those pieces as well as part of this video. All right, here is British Columbia College of Nurses and Midwives. This is the regulatory body for registered nurses in British Columbia. This is not a college or this is not a typical college or a university like how where we go and do our master's or undergraduate, but this is the nursing council or nursing board or nursing registration authority. Here it is called British Columbia College of Nurses and Midwives. So all the nurses, whether studied in Canada or anywhere in the world, must go through this, college in order to get their license first before practicing as a registered nurse or before applying for jobs too. So as you see here, there is a page separately, that talks about international educated nurses and the requirements for international educated nurses. So sometimes when I say IEN, that means internationally educated nurses. So here, it's a pretty straightforward, information. I'll quickly jump to the key pieces, then we can go back to other areas, where I can talk more about it. So the first step, in my previous video, we talked about National Nursing Assessment Service as a first step to apply and get the assessment done. But for British Columbia, it is not just mandatory go to National Nursing Assessment Service. You can go to National Nursing Assessment Service if you already have an application through them as a first step. However, if you don't have an application with them, you can simply come to this page where BCCNM, and do you see this, apply to Inspire Global Assessment. So formerly it was NCAs, but now it is called Inspire Global Assessments. You just go to their web page, what is given here, and create your application, create an account and start completing your application. What do you need to complete your application? One, of course, they need you to upload your identity documents, English language proficiency, educational credentials, and then they will review that, and if needed, then they may suggest you for a competency assessment too, just to match with what you have studied in BSN is equivalent to what the college is looking for from a skill set point of view. So these are the required documents that will be responsible for from your side in order to submit. But as I said in the introduction, applicants from the Australia, New Zealand, UK, and US, they don't need to complete the competency assessment because there is a comparable education part. However, the process steps are same. You go to inspireassessments.org, submit all your documentation, and then get going. Once you submit the application, you don't need to wait until then, but you can start applying to the BCCNM in parallel. But it's always good to complete this step and then come quickly to BCCNM, create an account, and start filling your application again here. So what do you need for BCCNM? BCCNM requires basically information, the reports from your employer confirming that your experience and your regulatory body, that is wherever you currently have a nursing registration, from them certain forms need to be attested and they need to be submitted back to BCCNM. Once they BCCNM receive these information from you as well as the assessment from the Inspire Global Assessment, BCCNM will start reviewing the total package. So after reviewing that, BCCNM will share the final requirements that you should complete before you are eligible for registration. It is very important and mandatory that everybody, all the applicants, are required to successfully complete the regulatory exam. um, and any other additional requirements such as any education or a coursework based on your individual circumstances. Now, especially for applicants from Australia, New Zealand, UK, and US, due to the similarity of nursing education and practice in these countries, BCCNM has a predetermined requirements. You can take a look at this here if you are from these countries. But in general, once you have completed any educational requirements or any other additional requirements that BCCNM has asked to do, ask the school where you have completed any coursework, etc., to send a confirmation to the BCCNM in order to get that checklist completed. And then you will be eligible for a provisional registration, and BCCNM will provide instructions on how to register for NCLEX RN exam. Um, in case if you choose to hold a provisional registration, um, you will need to request BCCNM for instructions in terms of paying your registration fee that need to be paid from your BCCNM account. You will appear in the online directory of BCCNM after the payment is completed. But most important thing is you are not authorized to practice as a nurse until you are listed in the online directory as a provincial registrant. These are the basic things, and then the final step is, of course, this is the final step. After completing the NCLEX RN, then basically you'll be in the practicing. You getting the practicing registration. So with that, you know. The provisional registration will automatically converted to as a practicing registration. um, and you apply for jobs, or you're continuing in your job, or whatever may be your situation. But most important thing, if you don't have a provisional registration, you cannot practice as a nurse until you are listed in the online directory of BCCNN. So it's a pretty straightforward process here. You start with Inspire assessments, and in parallel you can apply for BCCNM, or you submit the documents to Inspire assessments and then get your account started with BCCNM. This is a very straightforward situation. However, you can ask, okay, this seems to be pretty straightforward, then applying to NNAS and then coming back to British Columbia. How does the cost, what are the fees applicable here? So let's take a look here. Thanks to Government of British Columbia, there is very nominal cost to you as an internationally educated nurse. So what does it mean? So basically, in order to attract more medical professionals to British Columbia, the government of British Columbia has started a program called Internationally Educated Nurse Bursary Program. So what is this? You basically go to International Nurse Bursary Program, and you register there um, as a nurse, as an international educated nurse, in order to get reimbursement for the all the fees listed here. So just to give you a quick rundown here, for the credential assessment with the Inspire Global, there is a cost between $120 to $650, but this amount, whatever you pay, is eligible for reimbursement through International Educated Bursary Program if you have registered. And again, English language proficiency, the cost that you pay for the test, IELTS or whatever it is, that is $395, will be reimbursed if you are registered as an IEN bursary program. Competency assessment report, there is no cost if you are enrolled in the IEN bursary program, otherwise it is a $3,000 cost. And then applying to the BCCNM, the registration is no cost, it is fully paid by the government of British Columbia. and the registration fee, for the NCLEX RN is $360 plus GST. This is the cost that you will be required to pay. There is no reimbursement for this. And the practicing registration with the BCCNM is $737. Again, there is no um, bursary program or a waiver for these two costs. This is an insurance. So the only cost that is applicable to is the cost for the NCLEX RN and the BCCNM practicing registration cost. However, if you have a provisional registration, then whatever may be that provisional registration costs need to be paid by you as well, which is not listed here. But the good news is you have registered and you become an employee of a hospital or somewhere. That hospital will reimburse that membership, the practicing registration fee. So there is a good thing here, but again, that is not until you become a nurse in one of the hospital where they will ask you to submit the fee and then they will reimburse it. So it's a very nominal cost on your pocket, unlike the NNAS. It is a simple process. Hope this is informative to you. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe and give a thumbs up, and share this information to any other people that you are aware of, those who are interested in working in Canada. Again, thank you. See you in next video.